Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Vijana Balava Girivanari Gopijana Balava Girivanari Jasturanandana Jananandana Jasturanandana Jananandana Jamutira Vanakari Jamunatira Vanakari Jamunatira Vanakari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jai Om Vishnu Pada Paramahansa Priya Vijayakita Siddha Shishna His Divine Grace Abide Children Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki ISKCON BBD Founder Acharya Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Anand Kura Vaishnava Ki Nam Char Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Shri Ko Shri Vishnu Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Go Bhaktivedanta Ki Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopina Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Gauram Ki Vrindavan Dham Ki Mathura Dham Ki Dwarka Dham Ki Navari Dham Ki Jagannath Dham Ki Jamuna Maya Ki Ganga Maya Ki Tulsi Maharani Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Samveda Bhaktivedanta Ki Srila Prabhupada Ki Sri Sri Radha Giridhari Ki Shri Krishna Sankirtana Jaga Ki Gopremanandi All glory to the sum of the devotees. All glory to the sum of the devotees. All glory to the sum of the devotees. All glory to divine mercy to Sri Sri Guru Gauranga. Now, I didn't bring any water, thinking that I always bring water, and there's always water here. So I didn't do it today, and therefore, what happened?
Yeah, the cup is in the vajira.
It's just the nature of the material world. It is, we know that it's not conscious, whereas everything in the spiritual world is conscious. Prabhupada said the garlands will string themselves if you're busy doing something else. The rice will tell you when it's done. It's all conscious. But the material nature is not conscious, inert, dull matter. But it just seems almost conscious sometimes to thwart our will. You know, it's not an easy place. So let's get the verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Krishna Swadamo Bhagate Dharmaganari Bisaha Kalana Sadasham Mesha Parano Kodadotita Narayana Namaskricha Naram Chaivam Narotama Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayat. The Bhagavatam is as brilliant as the sun. It is arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied with knowledge, religion, etc. Persons who have lost their vision to the dense darkness of the age of Kali should get light out of this Purana. Before beginning our study of the srimadbhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, we should first offer respects to the personality of God Narayan, to the Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, the goddess of learning, Mother Saraswati, the author Srila Vyasadeva, and my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada. I think that we can crack, thank you very much, Prabhu, that we could crack that door open a few inches, just so there's a little freshness. Excellent. If that's too cold for anyone, then we can shut it. But so we are discussing Kapila Dev's commentary on the movements of the living entities. Third canto, chapter 31, text 42, correcto? Okay. Tam Atmano Vijaniyat Pati Apatya Grihatmakam Daivopasaditam Mrityum Mrigayo Gayanam Yata Tamatmano Vijaniyat Patya Grihatmakam Daivopasaditam Mrityum Mrigayo Gayanam Yata Tamatmano Vijaniyat Patya Grihatmakam Daivopasaditam Mrityum Mrigayo Gayanam Yata Tamatmano Vijaniyat Patya Grihatmakam Daivopasaditam Mrityum Mrigayo Gayanam Yata Patya Grihatmakam Daivopasaditam Mrityum Mrigayo Gayanam Yata Tadatmano Vijaniyat Patya Grihatmakam Daivopasaditam Mrityor Mrigayo Gayanam Yata Tamatmano Vijaniyat Patya patya gihatmakam Daivopasaditam rityum. Just don't put it to your mouth. Vaishnavi Tamatmano vijaniyat Patya patya grihatmakam Daivopasaditam rityum Mrigayogayanam yatatam. The Lord's Maya. Atmana, of herself. Vijaniyat, she should know. Pati, husband. Apatya, children. Griha, house. Atmakam, consisting of. Daiva, by the authority of the Lord. Upasaditam, brought about. Mrityum, death. Mrigayo, of the hunter. Gayanam, the singing. Yata, as. A woman, therefore, should consider her husband, her house, and her children to be the arrangement of the external energy of the Lord for her death, just as the sweet singing of the hunter is death for the deer. Also you say, a woman, therefore, should consider her husband, her house, her children, to be the arrangement of the external energy of the Lord for her death, just as the sweet singing of the hunter is death for the deer. Purport. In these instructions of Kapila Dev, it is explained that not only is woman the gateway to hell for man, but man is also the gateway to hell for woman. It is a question of attachment. A man becomes attached to a woman because of her service, her beauty, and many other assets. And similarly, a woman becomes attached to a man for his giving her a nice place to live, ornaments, dress, and children. It is a question of attachment for one another. As long as either is attached to the other for such material enjoyment, the woman is dangerous for the man, and the man is also dangerous for the woman. But if attachment is transferred to Krishna, both of them become Krishna conscious, and then marriage is very nice. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore recommends Anashaktasya Vishayan Yatarham Upayunjata Nirbandha Krishna Sambandha Yukta Vairagyam Uchate. Brahma Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. First, well, no, you can read there. Man and women should live together as householders in relationship to Krishna, only for the purpose of discharging the duties of service to Krishna. Engage the children, engage the wife, engage the husband, all in Krishna conscious duties, and then all these bodily or material attachments will disappear. Since the via media is Krishna, the consciousness is pure, and there's no possibility of degradation at any time. Om Gyanatam Gyanagana Salakaya Jakshushun Militan Gena Tazure Shri Gurave Namaha. I wanted to say something in general first. We're talking about the movements of the living entities. And the materialists, they're also studying the movements of the living entities. They're in Antarctica, they're in bottom of the ocean, they're wherever they are, studying how the living entities are moving. And they know many things. They know how. But the difference in Vedic view and actual intelligence is not understanding just how. What else is required? What brings value, content, purpose? Why? Why?
They'll tell you, the gene splicing and what is it, 33andMe, what are, all our DNA, how it's all working. They can do all kinds of amazing things. Do you know that the Polynesian, somebody's got to get me the miles, I always mean to do it and I forget, but from Polynesia, we're talking about Tahiti, the South Pacific, they sailed all the way to Peru and back sometimes in little rafts. I mean, it's an amazing feat. Now, some of them, I don't know if all of them, and I don't know if the ones who arrived safely, but let's assume, had an interesting concept of the world. You know what they thought was happening when they were rowing their little tiki boats or whatever they're called? What are those things called? Kayak. Because they're pontoon boats. You know what they thought? They thought the boat stayed stationary and they were pulling the world past them. I guess if you're enough coconut wine and enough heat on your sun and you're out there in the Pacific for, So the point is, with a completely wrong conception, they accomplished amazing things. So you understand, they can define, they give a definition. They can explain the elements of the phenomena. But the ultimate causation and the purpose, what if there's a purpose? I remember a discussion I had with my brother who saw Prabhupada's Gita. I was reading Prabhupada's Gita, and my older brother, and he said, "Oh, you're reading that? Well, obviously, But he said, I found it too simple. So I asked him, what do you mean? He said, well, it lays everything out so clearly. And I remember thinking, hang on a minute. Isn't that the goal of the thing, But no, he wanted that room to speculate and to dream, and it's not mailing the letter, it's not finding the post office, but it's the journey. No, not if you're trying to pay your bill before the electricity gets shut off. You do want to get to the post office and make sure the letter goes. So we live in a world where, like a dog that only can see at a certain range, they don't look up. They don't wonder why. It's like a Rube Goldberg machine, and I don't know if you know what Rube Goldberg machines are. Do you know what a Rube Goldberg? I'm going to send you a picture of a Rube Gold. You're an artist. You would appreciate. Rube Goldberg machines are these. They used to be cartoons, and they were like in the 40s, I think. And you all seen them. The guy's looking out the window, right? And he sees the dog barks at the cat jumps over the fence, it scares the bird flies, the fruit falls, it falls in a bucket, and it's this whole chain, and ultimately comes back, and it pulls a lever and kicks him right in the rear end. He's looking this way, and what? They had a great one about the election. It was a modern day Rube. How in the world? It's got Hillary Clinton being tossed out, it's got, the Uncle Sam being hit in the face with a pie, and Trump's coming in the door. It's like, how did that happen? So, to not understand why, you can explain the phenomena, and that they do quite well. It's neti, not this. It's Sankhya Yoga. The Vedas do it. They break it down into 24. You don't really need to anyway, whatever. I don't want to get too far afield. But the point is that the movements of the living entities, okay, how I can give you a detailed report about how I went to jail, how the police captured me, how I went to court, how they transferred me, what the car looked like, what my cell looks like. But what's the real question? Why did you wind up there? How are you going to get out? And what are you going to do so you don't go to jail again? That's what really matters. Not even on the radar. Not even on the radar. Well, a little bit. I'll go to the gym and I'll live a longer life and squeeze a little more. Giriraj Maharaj gave a great example. When you're old like me, you'll understand. But he said, prana is the, you've got the kalindi and the whole thing going on. So the serpent, the Kala chakra. So, what was I going to say? So prana, we call it prana, or the life force, the energy he said he feels like a toothpaste tube, that all the toothpaste has been squeezed out, all the prana has been squeezed out, but they want it, if they can squeeze a little more, if they can make it last a little bit longer, so that's their only sense of why, But here we're getting, once again, the depth and value of the Bhagavatam, because if you know why, then you can change your consciousness experience and goal and result. Okay, so we know, not only do we know how the moving living, I mean, they don't even know this law of karma and how it's all going on, Is it nature? Is it nurture? That's about as deep as they get. Why do you have children, same family, they're born completely different nature. You can say, well, it's because they weren't nursed long enough, or the lights and whatever you want to say. But the fact of the matter is that each jiva soul is different. Okay. So, now what is the analogy given here in this verse? The woman is compared to what? And who is her adversary? Okay, but it ends with an analogy. Yes, Balaram? Deer. Okay, fine. Does that mean very beautiful, like doe-like eyes? And why is she compared to a deer? Balaramji. Huh? Do you have it, Zach? Yes, Balaramji. Deer because the hunter's flute. What happens is the deer, they're very elusive. They're, and they're spotted, so they blend into the forest, and they're moving. They're flitting back and forth through the forest, and the hunter's trying to catch them. But when he plays his flute, the deer's ears perk up, and then and they become stunned, charmed, and they come to see, what is that sweet sound? And they pause at the edge of the glen and perk their little heads up and and what happens? Zing! Somebody sent me a cartoon. It's a deer, or it's a bear, and he's got a bullseye. And the other bear says, bummer of a birthmark. So, I mean, he's stunned, and whack, the hunter gets him. So, okay, what is that analogy? What does it mean? You don't have to think, it's not in relation to, let's just think about the movement of the living entities. What is the meaning of the analogy? And what does the deer think? The deer is thinking, something wonderful, something pleasing, something that will bring me joy. Isn't it? That's what the deer's thinking. The deer's not thinking, well, that's the end of me. I'm going to get stuck like a pincushion. No, she's thinking, something sweet, nice, In the same way, we could shut that now, it's getting a little cold. In the same way, there's expectation and result. You follow? What is the deer expecting, Damodar Kumar? Yeah, happy experience. What is the deer expectation? What is a deer's experience? Yeah, exact opposite. Bhagavatam gives a number of examples like this. Who can think of another example? Expectation and result from the Bhagavatam. I'm going to give you a huge hint. Ready? Huge hint. You see them in the desert. Oh, come on. So you want to explain a mirage? What happens with the mirage? You with a palm tree. They think, oh man. Hello there. Oh, someone. We don't wear our shoes in the temple. You can just put them right there. They're safe. You know, right there, just right in the hallway there. Good morning to you. Sorry to put you on the spot. So help her out. Help her out. Just wondering what's up. So the man is thinking, fantastic. Relief. Just what I was looking for. Puts on his swimsuit, gets out his glass, with his straw, ready to go. But as he moves, what happens? Yeah, and Prabhupada says the deer is searching and the deer dies in the forest. Or dies in the desert. So that's one. What's another example from Bhagavad Gita? Expectation, anticipation, expectation, and result being different. It's a classic example from Bhagavad Gita, and it's talking about, oh man, here we say, fruit. Bhaktizak. Nope. Nope. Example in Bhagavad Gita. There's the water, and there's a nice big mango tree or fruit tree. And what happened? What's on the water? And so if I'm looking at the reflection, I'm thinking, fantastic. And when the little child in illusion, looking at the reflection, runs forward to get the fruit from the tree in the reflection, what happens? Does he get a nice succulent mango? So that's another example from the Bhagavatam, that expectation, anticipation, but without knowledge what the actual experience is. So this verse is a little pinching. We've been criticizing the Bhagavatam's been talking about how the men are a cause of illusion for the women are cause of illusion for the men. It's interesting to note, by the way, well, I'm thinking of the time factor. The classic American values, and this is a good, freedom of speech. What is the classic example they give of the misuse of freedom of speech? Everyone should have freedom of speech, but they give a limit. What is a classic example given? If you're in a movie theater, can you fire in a movie theater? So that's a limitation on freedom of speech. But what if the theater's actually on fire? Then that's pretty good if you say fire. You got to say fire. If you don't say fire. So the Bhagavatam, the message of Bhagavatam can be a bit pinching because we're comfortable in our condition. But pinching words when they're actually necessary. Well, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada's spiritual master, his guru, gave a nice example. Indian example, India culture, but the principle is the same. So anyone who's been to so many places, you have a flat roof, right? And they usually use the roof. There's gardening or sunning or, so many different things. It's nice having a big flat roof, stairs up. You can do a lot up on the roof. Dry things. There's a lot going on the roof. So there were some small children, and they were running back and forth on the roof trying to get their kite to go. Now, small children, and big fools, they get absorbed in the thing. It's natural. They're just looking up, And as they were running, they were getting closer and closer to the edge, and there was no, they were at risk of falling off. An illusion, they were just, small, barrier, and they would just flip right over. So there was a stranger, not a stranger, a visitor, new to the neighborhood, unknown to the locals. He had some purpose there. And he saw these small children running on the roof. And they're getting closer and closer. So what does he do? Well, I don't know him. I'm not getting involved. What does he do? What is a natural instinct? Yeah, well, in this case, he didn't yell. I hadn't thought of yell, but yell is good. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his example is, the man runs up the steps, and just as the little boy or little girl's about to, he grabs them. Stops them from falling. Now, you're a small child, you're absorbed in your play, and some stranger grabs you. What do?
Scream.
Oh, and the neighbors all come, they're going to child abuse, they're going to beat him with a stick, And then someone says, no. Usually there's an old lady sitting somewhere who actually knows what's going on. She's watching. She says, no, I saw the whole thing. No. The little boy was about to fall off the roof, and he saved the boy's life. And everyone's so initially they're very angry, isn't it? But when they understand the whole situation, they understand, oh, fantastic. What a relief. Thank you. In India, they'll definitely give him a good meal. The guy can't leave without getting a nice meal. That's human nature, gratitude. So sometimes, what is it? I'm okay, you're okay, a mutual glorifying society, the Bhagavatam calls it. It doesn't really help you. What is it? Row your boat gently down the stream, merrily, life is but a dream. To just sail down an illusion in a mirage, well, you wasted the human form of life. So the Bhagavatam has to, so little time. Again, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, it's a nice example. Some of you know it, some of you don't. It's another one of his stories. There's a wedding in Bengal, and in Bengal they take advantage of boat service. So many rivers, so many boats. If you ever try to drive in India, you'll know boats are a lot safer, actually. So the groom's, the bride's party is going to the house of the groom, and the groom is, it's a night journey. So they all get on the boat at night, and they're all thinking, oh, there'll be a wedding feast, we'll see all of our friends, it's a joyous occasion. So they're all very happy. And they think, we'll just get on the boat, go to sleep, boatman will row all night. Next morning, we'll wake up and we'll be at the village and the wedding, everything will be great. And they tell the boatman, if you get us there by tomorrow morning, we'll give you extra. The boatman's very happy, they all snuggle down on the boat, off they go. The boatman's rowing all night long because he wants his extra rupees. They wake up in the morning and they find that they haven't moved an inch. They're in the exact same spot. So you can imagine they're going to miss the wedding, they're furious, I actually had this happen to me one time. I actually fell asleep in the taxi, I was tired. I woke up, okay, it was 15 minutes to the temple. I thought, and it was in Mumbai, in Chuhu. Whatever. So I thought, well, I'll just go to sleep in the car, take a nap, I'll wake up, I'll be refreshed. It was light, maybe 5 o'clock. I woke up, it's dark. What? I looked 6:30, I was 15 minutes from the temple. The taxi driver pulled over and went to sleep. He saw me go to sleep, he's like, oh, that looks pretty cozy. Hey, come on. It's counting on you. So that they begin to chastise him. Oh, you must have gone to sleep. And then he said, no, look, I'm covered with sweat. Look at my hands, the calluses. Does anyone know, raise your hand, what the problem was, Jagannath Tirtha?
He was tied to the actual dock.
He didn't pull up the anchor, same thing. He was moored. So in spite of all the effort, didn't get anywhere. So the fact of the matter is we're all stuck in our little cycles. We've always done it this way. We'll always do it this way. You know, this is what. Well, how do you find happiness? Oh, well, I feel my belly. I, you know, steam. What is it? Manasa Vega, Krota Vega, Jiva Vega. Senses in a line. If I can just scratch whatever the latest itch is, that's happiness. Well, what if there's a whole other world? What if there is another dimension? And that's what the Bhagavad is talking about in this verse. That, and it's interesting to note. I just want to say this. What is it? It gives a list. What is the real, generally speaking, the nature of the relationship between husband and wife in a mundane world? Because it talks about the positive side, spiritual side. But in the mundane, what is the example given? It says, a man becomes attached to a woman because of her service, her beauty, and similar assets. Similarly, a woman becomes attached to a man, nice for giving her a nice place to live, ornaments, dress, and children. They're not actually, the man actually doesn't love the woman in and of herself, for herself. It's what she can deliver. She's a delivery system for certain things. Similarly, generally speaking, in the material world, the woman is the same thing. The man is looking at the woman as a delivery system. The woman is looking as a man as a delivery system. It's not the individual, integral, you know, by nature that I love the person. Hey, I love what they deliver. And if they don't deliver, you know, put on 30 pounds. Lose your job. In sickness or in health. Get sick and see how long that one lasts. So, but it's describing when one is awakened to spiritual knowledge. Even though it may be pinching in the beginning, even it may require for that knowledge to become realized, that some detachment from the mundane absorption, like the hamster on the wheel. If there's that detachment and the seed of transcendental knowledge, and we begin to see why, not just how, the whole world opens up. I'm a sannyasi trying to be, I travel a lot, and you stay all kinds of places. You stay some pretty far out places, you know, up and down. So, but often I stayed at householders. And I was thinking, just recently I was in Burma. And very simple. It's a simple house. You know, it's literally a stilt house with the rice. Well, they have a used tire store underneath. Used tires, not new tires. Used, and they've got a veranda around. It's all made from bamboo, local stuff. And as far as you can see, it's rice fields, mangoes, you know, whatever, you know. They had 250 people stuffed in the house, hanging out the windows, on the balcony, you know, under the, you know, the used tire store. They had a speaker there. Now, I don't know where they all came from, you know. But the point is that that's where I spent the night. And I remember hearing the whole family. I was up early. They were up by 4 o'clock in the morning. And they were cleaning the deity room, getting ready to do a little worship, a nice murti, a nice little statue of Radha and Krishna. Kids were all cutting fruit. Grandma was out making a nice garland, picking flowers. You know, and they all got together by 6 o'clock a.m. They ring, ding, 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 ding. You can hear the little bell ringing. And they're all happy. I've got a tape. It's the Hare Krishna mantra of the Burmese tune. It's pretty far out. It's got a, what do you call it, a minor key, but it's really nice. So you hear it. It's so sweet, you know. And if you go to South India, particularly in South, it's sometimes but particularly in South India, if you stay in an apartment building, you'll hear in the morning so many different ding, 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 ding. The householders, before they go to work, before they go to school, whatever, they're doing a little worship. They're doing a little puja. You know, they've got their shila and they're doing their little ding, 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 ding. You know. You have Bhaktivatsal and Leela Shakti. I mean, Leela Shakti, Bhaktivatsal. They dress the deities today. They have their motels, they have their business, they have their house, they have their warm bed. They get out of their warm bed, they drive all the way down here and dress the deities. And it creates such a sense of purpose and place in the universe. We see the flowers, we see the fruit, let me offer that to Krishna. We see some nice cloth, let me use that for dressing Krishna. It's everything. Krishna says, I'm the original fragrance of the earth, I'm the light of the sun and the moon, I'm the pure taste in water. And when all these things are connected to the service of Krishna, one feels alive. One feels connected, not just, most people lead lives of quiet desperation. Or okay, fine, struggle as much as I can and, do not go gently into that long good night, but rage, rage, rage against the dimming of the light. Try raging when you're 75 years old and your knees are gone out and the eyesight and, what? What's the rage? What is that? What? So, in summation, the Bhagavatam does speak piercingly. It does cause some pain. Just like a boat, if it's anchored, it's pulling, there's the tension as it pulls on the line. But to speak of the tension, to snap that line. But by here, the business of a doctor is to cut. He doesn't just blow on the boil, he's got to lance it. So, and that will bring the curative. And the curative is how to use everything in Krishna's service in its right state. Everything. And one feels secure, satisfied, a purposeful life, a life worth living. Okay, we can end there. We are 5 minutes over. Anyone have a burning question? What's for breakfast? All right, we can end there. As soon as I said breakfast, everybody's brain shut down. All right, we can end there. Thank you for sitting so peacefully. Hare Krishna. What brings you here?
I'm a religious studies student.
Ah, are you studying for your course?
I'm writing an essay about
Is it due Monday?
Thursday.
Ah, the genuine nature of a student.
Yeah.
I know the feeling, don't worry. You could talk to Elena, can give you some nice, if you've been here before?
I've never been here before.
Yeah, or Balaram, why don't you have, are you guys staying for breakfast, you guys taking off?
No, we're still.
We have breakfast now, you can ask some questions. Yeah, we have so many students coming. What's a good book to give her? Something to take home. Oh, listen, get one of those magazines, Bhakti Zach, before you forget. Can you run and get her one of those Hare Krishna magazines? We want her to get an A.
Thank you.
No, it explains what we're about. It's our introductory magazine. It'll get you some good stuff.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think my
Where you go? He's gone around the block this way to get it.
Yes.
Where do you go to school?
SDSU.
SDSU. Because we have some devotees that went to UCSD, and who did we have from SDSU?
Padmana.
Oh, well, Pavamana, that was 40 years ago.
Yeah.
It's changed a bit.
yeah. How's it going?
How are you?
We usually go there once a week on Harnam, but it goes before
Easter, spring break.
yeah.
Yeah.
nice.
Do you know Pavamana was a big?
College.
Do you know Pavamana in the Cursed Rascal?
Religion class.
You tell me. I couldn't make this up if I wanted. You asked Pavamana. Pavamana was a big strapping guy.
Yeah.
Really?
He was a baseball player. Yeah, he was on the varsity
Yeah,
team.
yeah.
He was a big guy,
Yeah.
solid,
Yeah, it's like
Joined. Went to-
yeah, it's kind of
went to
like
India.
religious phenomena, like
Went to India to learn how to make Madhukas.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably, it went to India, it was in Mayapur.
common.
It was
phenomena
tough,
that
you can't
happens in
imagine
religion.
how hard it was. They were living
But
on
the essay
dal.
was just about,
It was
like,
no
conservation.
vegetables. Spicy,
Taking
went
it.
through you like a light.
So we went through kind of like
The rice was
the senses.
burnt on
the
one
senses are
side
involved in religion.
and it's complete starch. You know, it cooked beyond being individual grains. You just get this
Just
lump,
like sight with, like,
and you get
friction.
this dal that was super hot.
And then-
Maybe you would get a veg. Some
And,
days you
like,
would get a
speech
veg.
and-
And the sweet, they'd have a big block of that gore. It'd be like smeared black, it'd be black, and they'd wave off the flies and break it over pieces. Oh, it was so tough.
Yeah, just like everything.
So, and I, oh, it was so tough.
That's fine.
And because you didn't know what the drink would do, the boys were so sick. So Bob was sent on a mission to Maya, to the city across the river,
And Krishna,
and he went past the sweet shop,
and we never had a
and he
problem.
broke down. Just, I don't blame him. I would have been first in line. But it turns out
Oh, this is the
that he was super
translation
sick.
Prabhupada and the whole.
And
What we
he
usually
couldn't
do is we
digest
bring
anything.
Jamasi
He'll tell you the whole story.
Sometimes we
They
have these
took him
little, like,
finally to a
pamphlets we hand out.
sick.
So the
And the guy had Bob lie down in the gumshoe with all these different herbs and things he outlined like those chalk drawings, had Bob move
I mean, of course, we have the
spices, incantations, mantras into the chalk, into the silhouette area. And then began massaging Bob's stomach.
But so he has a nice
Massaging.
made.
And right out of his navel.
But in June, there is one festival, and that's the 45th.
Bob could feel it coming out.
Yeah, just
It was a
observe
group
Supposed to
how,
be this
like,
big festival.
Oh,
so,
And the guy
participate, like kind of
It
like
also should be posted.
from school was intended for somebody else. But Bob got it, and it was growing and destroying his digestive
Maybe they
system.
want, because it's kind of.
And he never really recovered his stomach. He was sick every day.
They're kind of involved, so.
Is that fun? You asked Bob about the Kurt's school.
Particular picture right here.
Next time you see him.
And also, how the colors.
These things are going on.
They probably want.
Yeah,
There's another. Sure. But, I mean, that could.
Rob tells a story about as a young man he went with some friends. I think one of them is Narendra Bullock, the same one of Robin's good friend who took him to see folks done the
Nice idea to be posted.
They went to see snake
Work
charm.
people up to it.
And they were college
Even 2 months in advance.
and they didn't believe it was their event of science. And they were joking with him, And
They do that.
so the guy was,
a year in advance.
didn't like it, Do you understand?
No.
He opened the cages. I mean, let's say the cages were there, they're standing here. The guy went over and opened the cages, and the snakes started coming, cobras, black viper, all these things started coming. They freaked him. He chanted mantras to Seshanag. They all turned around and back into their cage. They went back into their cage. They didn't fool around with that guy.
They had to like work stuff out.
These things are going on.
So that's the last.
Oh, Krishna.
That was, we had talked about 2 months ago about.
Maybe it's probably good to have it.
Yeah,
Super soon.
yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Like,
That's
soon as
I heard that story.
Well, I mean,
Was it last time in Rhinelander when I was
I could talk
like right when he
No,
gets
I
in
should
there.
have come with
Like his
questions
first
prepared. I didn't
week.
know.
Yeah, first week and everything. He gets bribed and then he gets attacked by a snake charmer. He puts a snake around his neck. And the snake starts constricting. And he's saying, give me 50 rupees, 50 rupees. And then he doesn't do it and it keeps getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And then someone eventually gives him 50 rupees.
Breakfast is ready when everyone is.
Jeez. But that's why he had no money. There's a flower cup.
Oh my goodness, thank you.
You know,
We can talk to.
Thank you. So pretty.
A whole bunch of pictures.
Yeah,
although he's very sweet to me.
I usually buy it or whatever, but I got a whole bunch of pictures.
Yeah, he has an iron
For
will.
Jen Mom.
And I can see him
It'd be nice.
go ahead. I'm not giving you I can just see him not doing it,
Yeah, it'd be nice to try.
Really do it.
Yeah.
No, he's a power person.
Because I don't want to bug him. I know that he's busy. Okay. All right, so okay, that'll be good.
There's a lot going on. When you become a devotee, you meet these people that married their high school girlfriend, and live in the same town, and work. Tennessee? Huh? Tennessee? Yeah. Oh, yeah. The devotees, I mean, we pack so much into a lifetime. There's a lot, you know. I mean, you're just finding out. I mean,
What's his name again?
I just talk to people. You know, like, if I can't get out of it, some family reunion or something, and they're just, they can't believe it. You know, we're just talking about life. Wait, hold on. Yeah. I think Krishna puts devotees on the crash course, you know, to go back to Godhead, and we would have taken 15 lives. He stuffs into one. You know. A lot happens to devotees.
We found a Vyasa-san. Ujjain makes Vyasa-san, so I found one, and then I sent it to Radha Priya.
They like it?
She seemed to like it, and you would have to respond.
What's the size?
It's similar to this.
Good size. We want to. This is a nice size range.
So it kind of looks similar, but there's more ornate kind of. Anyway, I could send it to you.
No, you guys decide. They can do carving in India. I mean, but you've got to watch them. Like if you look at the lions, I don't want to find fault because no. You look at the lions on the Vyasa-san at Laguna Beach.
Oh yeah.
They look like dogs.
Yeah.
They don't.
Prabhupada's lions.
Yeah.
I you know.
Yeah.
So, and if you look at these, we took these little prasadam stands, and they were supposed to carve lotuses. So, but one side has lotus, and the other side is some Mexican cactus. I don't think it's a Mexican, but it's something. So you gotta, you know.
Yeah. Mostly it's designs. I mean, there are two little.
But they can do lotuses. They can do
swans, little right here.
swans. Yeah. But just have them do a sketch. Have them do a sketch ahead beforehand.
Yeah.
No, that's nice.
Prabhupada told them
Because you'll benefit. The man who makes it benefits. And Prabhupada was, who told me this? Maybe, anyway. The Prabhupada was writing, and on a train in India, you put down the wood, you could fold down, in the old trial, they still got it. They used to have writing day, you could fold down and write up. And Prabhupada said, we are doing Bhagavatam translation. Whatever living entity that was in the tree body that now is this wood gets like a quantum leap forward because now we're using it for Krishna. So the tree will benefit, this carpenter, everybody. Yeah. See you later.
How did you find it online?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll get it done in Mexico. Or Mexico.
Oh, you're saying the Vyasa from Ujjain?
But we'll get ideas from Ujjain, but we're just going to take that in and give it
It's
to them.
International Society for Krishna Consciousness.
It was interesting too because they had like huge like rolls of cloth and they had like artists had drawn stuff and they were like stitching the fall. It was just like wow, that's crazy.
Yes, I guess we make our own outfits. With this temple, we don't have facilities, so we produce the outfits from like professional.
Krishna, 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 hey.
Yeah, from North County.
Yeah, I was the one who was not the original one, the second one who responded to the email.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You guys
That's
you
fine.
came a little earlier.
I honestly, did I say 9? Okay, I honestly had no idea what time I said, and I thought it was 8, and I got off work really late last night, and I was like beating myself up, but I was like, why did I say it was at 8? Oops.
Yeah, it was 9. It was just there.
Like my sister sent me
I got here at 8, and then I didn't want to interrupt, so I went outside for a little bit.
Sheila
I
Graham
was like,
from someplace where she's at, and she's in
it was okay in the email.
like
Yeah. So you got here at 8, huh?
But
he keep asking for more. He's like, I don't have any.
There's Santosh is the only one that would know. We never have any. We hardly ever have any families.
Well, we have maybe they told me, we have a big festival tonight. And
You guys got a Shaligram Sheila?
The Krishna
Yeah,
I mean, maybe in general we should
They,
talk to them about that.
I don't know where she.
yeah.
Other ideas are
Where
Yeah,
she
if I
got it,
finish
but
all the work, I need
it's
to.
actually not
Definitely.
like
I
it's
don't
an
want to
extra
trouble you
set.
guys.
No, we have a lot, we could put it on.
Yeah, okay. So,
So
Shiva Shaligram?
or not a Shaligram, I forget what they call it. Lingam there.
Oh, okay.
So she sent that, and
Where's your shoes? What kind of shoes?
no, my shoes are in the back. I don't know, I'm gonna get them, I'll walk around. Looks like we had a big,
I want to see the fiance.
Can I have a carrying this? You're not ready to go, right?
I'll show it to you. I'll email it to you. Okay. I'll show you during the tour. Nice. It's practically the same size. No, it's darker wood, not like this, but dark.
Because if you notice, this actually isn't dark wood, it's stained. It doesn't look as nice as having like ebony or like mahogany.
Yeah, this is dark wood, and it doesn't have any of this design. Or this. What it does, it's kind of this size, but none of this. So, but it has a whole bunch of carving design here. Cool. And it has this thing and this thing, carving design. And then it has a bunch of carving here, and then it goes up. Wow. There's like a little swan here, and a little swan here. I mean, the swans would be good to have.
That's nicer.
That's true, yeah.
It's made for
I told you the story.
The swan, yeah, that's true. I mean, at first I was thinking, oh, maybe we'll ditch the swan because it might be difficult for these guys. My blue pig might get too difficult. But I mean, if they're carvers, they should be able to do it. You know?
Wow.
So, and then it seems like you won't have a seat attached like this. The back will be attached like this. But the seat actually will just be like a cushion that you could put on, and then you could easily take off and wash or whatever. And then the color will be this, Prabhupada's.
When we were
The same color, the back. Yeah, both of them, all that green, that dark green color. Maybe we'll do a little decoration with the flowers.
Actual servants actually live Jagannath.
So then it matches.
So
that's the idea.
We ran into him and he invited us over and we got
That's nice.
Jagannath Prasadam, and he had deities that he had carved out of the actual Siddha tree, like pieces from it.
Wow.
And he asked if we wanted one, and I'm like, yeah. So I have a little Mahaprabhu that's like carved out of the Siddha tree. It's like totally like, different.
How big is he?
He's about that big.
Wow.
And then we have Lord Nrsimhadev. And then,
What form?
he's got a little Prahlad. He's about this big.
He's seated with like Prahlad on his lap, kind of.
Yeah. And he's very sweet looking. Like, some of them are fierce, but he's got a very nice disposition in them. Elena had, I guess she had bought it somewhere in her travels, but it was a huge Krishna, right?
Huh.
And she had him in Russia, and I found out that he was there, and she's like, yeah, I don't even know if anybody serves him. I'm like, tell your mom to ship him down. And so she did. She brought him with her when she came down for our wedding or whatever. And he's like this huge.
What's he made of?
It's made out of wood, but then he's like painted. He's really nice, but he didn't have a flute, so I like made him a flute. Like I always want Krishna to have a flute. So like all the deities that like I didn't have, I found or made a flute for him, so that each one would have. Well, anyway, I don't want to keep us or whatever.
That's good taste of prasadam.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, so I mean we have a lot of them. So when I do puja, it's like takes forever. I'll meet you right.
Oh yeah, I think mine are actually up.
Oh,
Unless you stole mine.
that happens.
Probably did, yeah. Let's see. It happens.
And then we have